Today, we're diving headfirst into the wonderful world of grocery stores. What could be so scandalous about a place that sells overpriced yogurt and wilted lettuce? And to that, I say, buckle up, because this isn't about your average grocery run. We're uncovering the truth about what's happening in October that grocery stores are trying to keep hidden. See, October is a magical time for them. From strategic price manipulation and hidden shortages to major shifts in how they're controlling stock. You're going to want to stick around for this, because if you think the rising prices are bad now, trust me, there's more going on than meets the eye. Let's start with a little something called shrinkflation, which honestly sounds like a terrible marketing term for a weight loss program. Shrinkflation is the practice of reducing product sizes while keeping prices the same. It's like that old magician's trick, but instead of a rabbit disappearing, it's your value for money. Think about it. That box of cereal you always buy? It might look the same, but chances are there's less in there now. That orange juice carton? It's probably slimmed down a bit. And don't even get me started on toilet paper. Grocery stores rely on you not noticing. They're banking on you being too busy trying to remember if you need milk, or if you're just surrounded by tiny milk cartons to even realize you're getting less bang for your buck. This is happening across the board, with companies big and small trying to sneak one past the consumer. Have you noticed your local grocery store looking a little sparse lately? Like a post-apocalyptic supermarket where the shelves are half empty, and the only thing left is that weird off-brand mayonnaise that nobody ever buys? Well, you're not alone. October has become a critical month for grocery stores, and not in a good way. We're seeing more and more reports of empty shelves and specific items becoming increasingly difficult to find. While some of this can be attributed to genuine supply chain issues, a lot of it is actually intentional. Some grocery stores are deliberately controlling their stock levels, particularly for staple goods, to create a sense of scarcity. They create the problem, the illusion of scarcity, and then they get to control the solution, which is, of course, higher prices. It's a classic case of never let a good crisis go to waste, except in this case, they're the ones engineering the crisis. When people see empty shelves, they panic. They start buying more than they need, stockpiling essentials like bottled water, canned goods, and toilet paper. This panic buying only exacerbates the problem, leading to even more shortages and price hikes. It's a vicious cycle, and we're the ones stuck in the middle of it. So the next time you're at the store and you see an empty shelf, don't just shrug and assume it's due to supply chain issues. October. The leaves are turning, the air is crisp, and grocery stores are shamelessly exploiting our love for all things pumpkin spice. Yes, folks, it's time to talk about seasonal manipulation, a tactic so predictable, it makes Groundhog Day look like a spontaneous improv show. Every year, like clockwork, grocery stores use the arrival of fall and the impending holiday season to jack up prices on specific items. We're talking about those seasonal staples that you only really buy this time of year: canned pumpkin, baking ingredients, stuffing mix, cranberry sauce, the works. Suddenly, those cans of pumpkin puree that were languishing in the back of the pantry all summer are now front and center, with price tags that would make your wallet weep. And it's not just the obvious culprits like pumpkin spice everything. They're also strategically increasing prices on items that they know we're more likely to buy in bulk for holiday gatherings. Think baking supplies, party snacks, festive decorations. All those things that make your home look like a Pinterest board exploded. They're preying on our desire to create that perfect holiday experience, knowing that we're often willing to shell out a little extra cash when it comes to special occasions. But here's the thing. It doesn't have to be this way. Do your research, compare prices, and don't be afraid to buy generic brands or skip the pumpkin spice lattes altogether. Let's be honest, the produce section is often the saddest part of the grocery store. It's a minefield of bruised apples, wilting lettuce, and tomatoes that look like they've been through a war zone. But in October, things take a turn for the worse. Suddenly, that once vibrant display of fruits and vegetables starts to resemble a post-apocalyptic wasteland with empty shelves and sky-high prices. So what's going on here? Is Mother Nature conspiring with grocery store executives to make us all eat more processed food? Well, it's not quite that simple, but it's not far off either. The truth is, fresh produce shortages in October are directly tied to several pressing issues that grocery stores are not exactly eager to discuss. First, there's the issue of climate change. Extreme weather events like droughts, floods, and early frosts are wreaking havoc on crop yields, making it harder for farmers to grow the fruits and vegetables we rely on. And guess what? These extreme weather events are becoming more frequent and more intense thanks to, you guessed it, climate change. Then there's the issue of labor shortages. The agricultural industry relies heavily on migrant workers, many of whom are facing increasing difficulty obtaining visas and crossing borders. This shortage of labor means fewer hands to pick and pack produce, leading to smaller harvests and higher prices. And let's not forget about the ongoing water crisis in many parts of the country. California, for example, produces a significant portion of the nation's fruits and vegetables, but the state is also in the midst of a severe drought. This means that farmers are being forced to make tough choices about which crops to water and which ones to let wither and die. Let's be honest, grocery shopping is rarely a joyous experience. It's usually a frantic dash through brightly lit aisles, desperately trying to remember what you need while simultaneously dodging rogue shopping carts and avoiding eye contact with the person who's blocking the entire dairy aisle. But what if I told you that your grocery store experience is even more carefully curated than you realize? That every turn, every display, every strategically placed sale sign is designed to manipulate you into spending more money? Welcome to the fascinating, if slightly terrifying, world of consumer psychology, where grocery stores employ a battery of tactics to subtly influence your shopping habits. They've turned the art of getting you to buy more into a science, and they're really, really good at it. Let's start with the obvious product placement. You know how the most essential items like milk, eggs, and bread are always located at the back of the store? That's not an accident. It's a deliberate tactic to force you to walk past countless other tempting products, increasing the likelihood that you'll toss a few extra items into your cart along the way. Then there's the art of eye-level shelving. The products that are placed at eye level are prime real estate, and you better believe that those spots are reserved for the items with the highest profit margins, not necessarily the ones that are the healthiest or the best value for your money. And let's not forget about those end cap displays, those beacons of temptation that lure you in with their bright colors and promises of deep discounts. Studies have shown that end cap displays can increase sales by up to 400%. Remember the early days of the pandemic, when everyone and their grandmother was hoarding toilet paper like it was going out of style? Those were strange times, weren't they? Well, the urge to stockpile hasn't exactly gone away. In fact, it seems like more and more people are starting to embrace the prepper lifestyle, stocking up on essential goods in anticipation of future shortages, natural disasters, or, the zombie apocalypse. And grocery stores? Well, they're fully aware of this growing trend, and they're not exactly discouraging it. In fact, they're quietly capitalizing on our collective anxiety, using it as yet another opportunity to boost their profits. How, you ask? By strategically withholding inventory and creating the illusion of scarcity. Think about it. When was the last time you saw a sale on canned goods, bottled water, or toilet paper? Yes, I'm bringing up toilet paper again. Chances are it's been a while. That's because grocery stores know that these are the items that people tend to stockpile, so they have no incentive to offer discounts. Why lower the price when they know people will buy it anyway, especially if they're worried about not being able to find it in the future? It's a clever tactic, but it's also incredibly cynical. They're essentially profiting off of our fear and uncertainty, playing into our deepest anxieties about the future. And the worst part? It's working. As more and more people succumb to the allure of stockpiling, it creates a self-fulfilling prophecy. The more we buy, the less there is to go around, which only fuels our anxiety and drives us to buy even more. It's a vicious cycle, and it's one that grocery stores are all too happy to perpetuate. So there you have it, folks. The not-so-pretty truth about what's really going on in those brightly lit aisles of your local grocery store. From shrinkflation to stock manipulation, seasonal price hikes to the subtle art of consumer psychology, it's clear that there's more to grocery shopping than meets the eye. But don't despair. Now that you're armed with this knowledge, you can navigate the grocery store with a newfound sense of awareness and, dare I say, power. Stay vigilant, read those labels carefully, and don't be afraid to question those prices.